28th or the 27th, the night of the 27th on this side of the pond. The first transatlantic two-way amateur radio contact, which was, of course, on CW then, in 1923, was done by 3 stations. One MO in West Hartford, Fred Schnell, he worked at the League, as I recall, and then John Reinhardt's 1XAM, and he was in South Manchester, Connecticut, and that's really close to where my son Dave lives. So I tried to figure out, well, where exactly was John Reinhardt's in South Manchester. It's actually just called Manchester now. They don't have a separate name of it. But I actually found, I didn't know what his address would be. You know, I just knew he was in South Manchester from what you read on, you know, like in the ARRL and things like that about the early days. But I actually found on doing a search on him, I found a QSL card, you know, on Worth Point of his from the 20s, and it has his address, and you know, like 371 Hartford Road, South Manchester, Connecticut. And I looked it up on Google Street View. The house is still there. I think maybe if he had the radio in the garage, there's a garage, but it's a very nice little house on a corner lot, and it has a garage. It must have been built in the 20s. You know, I don't know if it was there in 1923. I bet you it was. It'd be kind of fun to operate. Maybe I'll just drag a mobile over there and park. There's actually a little bar right across the street with a parking lot, and operate from there on the 28th. Maybe even you know, make contact with the owners. They're probably, they may or may not be aware that, you know, there's a history with the house there at that location. Pretty interesting. And they have
very nice looking place they got there. Looks like they got a lot of trees, and
I wonder how the noise floor is compared to your old neighborhood. Very good. Yeah, and have you looked up Homer Simpson, and what street does he live on yet in town? Springfield. There's Springfields everywhere. I know there's Missouri, Springfield, Massachusetts. No, there's none in Rhode Island. They're too small for that. And yeah, okay, on Charlie and feeding cookies to the possum. Yeah, I wonder if they had. I wonder if they had like animal trick or treating going on night. We had just a bunch of neighborhood little kids. You know, the neighborhood is it's more of an aging neighborhood. Most of us have been here since you know, the late 70s, and you know, we're all old farts, and our kids are all here. Actually, the son Ben brought his kids over very early on from Westerly, and then, you know, some of the younger guys in the families and neighborhood brought their kids around. We don't get that many kids, but some neighborhoods we have a town like Facebook page, and people are talking about Halloween, like in downtown Pawcatuck, when you know, up towards the you know, by the bridge, the older residential neighborhoods. It's one street, Moss Street. I guess it's a traditional, like they just go nuts on Halloween. I guess a lot of people put up display, but yeah, people are talking like 800 kids, and you know, like I don't know, you know, 80 pounds of candy, and it must be insane up there. And you know, they must bus people in from where, I don't know. There's actually a lot of small streets. You know, the houses are a lot more closely spaced up there. But yeah, hundreds and hundreds of kids. That's totally insane. Yeah, we just I just set up on the tailgate. I put
a very long set
of steps up to our, and they're tricky. We don't want kids tripping. I just set up you know, like tailgater treat down at the street, and then I just hand the candy out. Then you get to meet the parents and talk with the parents and stuff like that too. So that was kind of fun. So anyhow, over to Perry, W3MR. And what rig are you on there, Perry? It sounds really good. And how are you getting your antenna up so high? Do you have any plans for any beams or anything like that? I was on 10 meters yesterday, both from home here, with this antenna, as a matter of fact. Here's something, Perry. You want to get on 10 meters. Maybe that's a coax-fed dipole resident about this part of the band. All you got to do is put about 7 feet 10 inches with 75 ohm coax up at the feed point, between the feed line and the feed point. And you'll have a beautiful match on 10 meters and have 7.5 wave doublet, and man, it's got lots of gain, about 8 dB over a dipole in a bunch of different directions, about 45 degrees off the axis of the antenna. Over to you, W3MMR, AJ1G.
And 1XCW.
W2SDR.
Hold on. There we go. I was eating Twix last night and Reese's, and you know how that goes. So, but Halloween was great here, man. Lots of kids in the neighborhood. What else do I got here? Blah blah blah. All is well with my son. He's been adjusting great, doing great in school. Like I said, he's made a bunch of friends. It's been as seamless as it possibly could be for a 12-year-old to move 1,000 miles, and it's been, a godsend. But thank God for my dad and my mother, and for all the help that I've had. Because I haven't done it all alone, so it's really been great. Chris, you asked how I got the antenna up so high. I am using a tree for the center support. I have a giant evergreen tree in my front yard. Like, if you were looking at Google Street View or Satellite View or whatever, there's a tree that's like right by the front of the house, and it's it's up there. I used a couple different measurement apps with my phone, and each one said between 90 and 100 feet, and I don't think it's 100 feet by any stretch, but it's up there, and it's a lot higher than my last antenna, and it's noticeable on receive. And people have said, oh, you're more solid, bigger signal, same power, blah, 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 but the sign to me is how strong everybody else is and how solid everyone else is. The noise floor here is pretty much exactly the same as the last house. Might actually be a dB or two louder, which is kind of unfortunate, but I live in the city, man. Unless I live in the mountains or out where my dad lives, it's going to be impossible to have a really low noise floor, man. So I just take what I can get. But you guys are well above the noise here. About 30 dB of signal to noise ratio plus for every single one is. So yeah, we'll keep it moving here. Good morning to all. Great signals all the way around. Yes, I am running the Anon this morning, Chris, with the AL82. 252 watts of carrier here this morning. Up to you, Charlie. Good morning. I was just talking about you. Glad to hear you. And then back down to Pop, and then up to Glenn. N1XZW in the group. W3MMR.
W3MMR. N1XZW. Morning, Chris, Glenn, Frank. I really wasn't going to be up this morning, but I heard Chris mention my name. Yep, Chris, we're alive and well. I just was investigating something down here in the basement. Little bit of dirt on the floor behind the boiler. I see where a mouse or something is got between a brick and the cement slab, and has been dragging dirt out. It's only a little hole. He pulled a lot of dirt out of there. We're going to get a can of expanding foam and some cement to take care of that later in the day. Just take the little tube of the expanding foam and stick it down the hole and pack a little cement around it, let it set up a little bit, and then let the can rip. Take care of whatever tunnel he's dug under there. Anyway, I'm not going to stick around because there's enough what's in here that by the time it gets back around to me, it'll be time to feed the fishes. So, again, good morning to everybody. We're still around, and winter is coming. We'll be on a little longer in the morning once things get a little colder. Right now, I'm still quite busy. W2SDR to take it. N1X or CW.
Hey, Charlie. Good morning. Good morning, everyone else here. Hope everyone's copied okay this morning. Yeah, everyone that so far is coming through great, nice, quiet conditions. Yeah, I actually have less to do in the wintertime than I have in the summer. I have all that outside work to do. And not that there's that much that I have to do here in the summertime, but it's a break for the winter. I get to watch a lot of movies on TV and kick back and relax with the pets on the inside. And I like to change the season. We've got the time change coming up. A couple of days, right? What's today? Thursday? A few days. Saturday night, Sunday morning, whatever. So good. Well, I haven't heard you, Glenn, this morning, but good to hear everyone else this morning. I'm on my little ICOM this morning, so that's what I'm using here. We've got 28 degrees. So first time we've been below 30 degrees so far this fall. N1SNG in the group. W2SDR.
Okay. Looks like I grabbed the right microphone. Okay. Good morning, Frank. 718 is doing a fabulous job, as always. Very, very nice. And good morning to Charlie. In pursuit of the mouse, or meese. Yeah, well, you'll have to, once you've accomplished your mission, you'll have to give us a detailed report there. Reminds me of the guy on TV there, something, the Exterminator, Billy the Exterminator or something. But anyway, yeah, I think you've got a stone foundation on your house, Charlie. I'm not too sure, but in any case, go get him. I was in the woodpile yesterday, and a bunch of mice came running out. I'm like, oh, I better wear boots. Oh man! But anyway, so a few hours later, I looked out the back, and there's my neighbor's cats, and they're doing tactical maneuvers out in the back. So they must have had their getting ready to put their hooks into some mice there. So they're always hunter, killer and killer. Yes, that's what their names are. But in any case, yeah, as long as they're back there and they're not around the house, we're in good shape. And pretty good on the antenna. I think you said that's a dipole antenna that you've got there. And wow, what a nice staging point there. It's just too bad you couldn't decorate that tree for Christmas, huh? Hi. that would be a monster. But anyway, all good reports coming from your camp, and your son's doing well. And I think the friends is the kicker right there, because going from one environment to the next, and then meeting up with kids socially is just great. And yeah, go easy on the candy, huh? Yeah, I like the Tootsie Rolls. Yeah, the little tiny ones there. Of course, I don't even think they make the big ones anymore. But yeah, those don't last. I was opening up all the bags that we had left over and just taking the Tootsie Rolls out. So it goes to tell you how much I really admire those little morsels. But anyway, we're on the Valiant this morning, and listening on the R398, and it is so quiet here. It's just fabulous. Perry, yeah, the noise and all that, yeah, it's still here, and so on and so on. Just I'll make do with what you got there and work around that. But Frank, good on the projects, outdoor projects, slowing down there and getting more inside as things cool down. Yeah, yesterday was pretty cool outside. I started out with my gloves and my big coat, my scarf, and my Charlie Bronson hat and all that. And then when it was all done and over with, I just had my shirt on, and it was sun came out. It wasn't that bad. It's always something to do. And I think I'm going to have to move the Jeep forward today to get the snowblower in. Make sure I have enough room for that. But I set the Jeep back too far near the garage door, so that was my fault. So I got to take it off the jack stands and move it forward. I wish I had some of them dollies. You ever see those dollies? I think Harbor Freight sells them. But I saw a set of those somewhere, and I just said, nah, what do I could use those for? When you're looking at the Jeep, I could have rolled that around the garage, and I figured out how much room I actually need. But in any case, it's always something. Today we'll probably get out there in the garage, and not too much in the planning department. I did go over to Newport, Chris. I had an old lamp here. It was an old street lamp my grandfather had many years ago. He said it came off a bridge or something, but it thing weighed like 70 pounds, all cast iron and glass, and it was in fair condition, needed some work. So last time we were over in Newport, I noticed this Aardvark Antiques. Right as you get off the bridge, you take the right. It's right at the bottom of the hill. So I said, gee, I'm going to give him a call. So I called the guy up. I shot him some pictures and so on. So he was interested in it, so he offered me $200 for it. So I went down there the other day with the wife and dropped that off. Kind of an exotic place, kind of ghostly. All the like giant elephants stuff and giraffes, and then all these lawn ornaments, fountains, and really like cool ancient stuff. Stained glass windows out of churches, and I guess he does a lot of clients. He's got a lot of clients that call him looking for a lot of that stuff, even for props, like movie props and stuff. But anyway, it's a very unique place. I've been looking at it for years and years, and always wondered what was inside. And it was kind of neat going down there and taking a little tour. But other than that, we'll get right over to you, Chris. And you mentioned about the outside thermometer. That I got one of these old Coca-Cola thermometers out in the back on the shed. In fact, I gotta take that off of there. I don't leave it out in the wintertime. So again, good morning to Frank, Charlie, Perry, and I'm gonna run upstairs, grab another cup of coffee. I think Perry, today's another work day for you. Maybe not, but over to you, Chris. J1G and 1 SNG.
Okay, Glenn, A1 SNG, J1G. Good morning, Charlie. Good morning, Frank. And Glenn, I think you were talking about, I had to look him up, but I remember him, the character from King of the Hill, Dale Gribble. Hank Hill's neighbor. He's a guy who's, he's in on all the conspiracy theories and doesn't trust the government and has an extermination business. Dale Gribble. Yeah, that was quite a show. I enjoyed that show. I didn't realize that some of the people on there, apparently one of the characters was voiced by Tom Petty, the rock and roller. I didn't know that. It's probably all available on reruns now. We used to watch that all the time. We got 29 degrees. Just about ready to. Probably got a little time to put out the curb markers along the frontage of the house, so we don't get our get our curbs ripped up by the plows. Probably a little bit early for that. But yesterday I got all the hoses in, drained all the external water lines. We have a outside faucet that has about a 25-foot run from outside the foundation under the deck out to the far side of the deck. It's actually right near the east end of the house heat pump compressor. Got all the hoses put away and all the plants in, and still got a lot of leaves. Now, Glenn, I got more leaves than I need. I don't need any from you. The maples are pretty much all down. We have one big maple tree left. We used to have more, but they came down in a storm very early on in the life of the house here. I have one big maple that's almost down. All the black gum trees or tupelos, they're all very tall. They make these little canoe-shaped or kayak-shaped leaves. They're all down. And the oaks are, two big white oaks are coming down and really coming down hard right now. But another week or two will all be down, and then just wait for the grand finale, the final blaze of color of the season is it's an oxymoron. It's this giant dwarf Japanese maple. It's supposed to be a dwarf Japanese maple tree. We bought and planted it. And the thing is like, it's probably like 40 feet wide and 30 feet high. Beautiful plant. Gets bright red and yellow leaves when it grows out. But man, does it put down a ton of them. And we'll get it going. And Glenn, I don't know if I may have told you, but I'm all proud of having my 725 EXI mower, my push mower, my Husqvarna push mower with the big Briggs on it, and I changed the ignition coil, and it's still got this situation where it'll start beautifully and run great all the time once it starts, but after it'll start on a full choke and cold, but after, if you like to shut it down and change the bag, and after it's been running a while and the choke is going, it will not start. I took the carburetor off and took it apart, shot it all up with carb cleaner and everything, put it back together, put it back on. Super easy to get off and on, and it's still doing it. So I have a new carb on order. It was like $50. I got it through the dealer I bought the mower from originally, but it hasn't come in yet. So hopefully we'll get that on. I mean, right now the mower and I have an understanding. I just don't even bother to try starting it until I can see that the choke lever is back to the full choke position. Then it'll start right up, and then it'll run great. But it's burning oil, and that might have something to do with the whole problem. I'm constantly clearing oil out of it. It's got a breather tube, and the intake for the intake port on the back side of the air filter is just all sorts of oil film in there. And when you start it up, it's like starting a B-17 radial engine. You get a minute or two of smoke, and I'm constantly putting oil in. It's probably got bad rings. And last week I checked the oil and added some oil. I forgot to tighten down the dipstick on the tube. The next thing you know, I look down and there's oil splatter everywhere. There must be an awful lot of blow by in the crankcase. I don't know how long the thing is left of the world, but I'm going to give it a try with a new carb and see what happens. Hopefully it'll get me through the rest of the season. Anyhow, I think it goes back to you, Glenn, if I'm not mistaken. N1SNG in the group, AJ1G.
Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, okay. I'll keep it short here because we got a big group. Oh, sorry, my HT's going off next to me. Oh, man. Oh, good transmissions all the way around. Good signals. Quickly on my antenna, it's a 600 ohm open wire fed 125 foot inverted V, so it's a length of a 75 meter dipole, essentially, in an inverted V. I think it's broadside northeast southwest ish. It kind of goes diagonal across the property. But I haven't been out there with a compass on my phone, to see exactly where it is. But it's close enough. It seems to receive the guys in the Midwest really well and get out in the Midwest really well. In comparison to some of the guys in New England. I was just messing around on Kiwi SDR last night and checking propagation in different areas of the country and seeing how the antenna was. I was down on 73 and when the Collins Collectors Net was going on, and just putting a carrier out there. Nobody's obviously on the band in that area, so I wasn't interfering with anybody, but seems to work well out to that area. So yeah, Charlie, good to hear you, man. Welcome. Hope all is well. I guess you're pretty busy with the apartments and stuff, and so hopefully that kind of subsides for you. But nevertheless, good to hear you, man. And yeah, nothing really much else on the horizon here. I was thinking about building a smaller balanced L matching network, because you can see the one I use on QRZ, it's gigantic. I would like to have one with 2 little roller inductors. That's the hard part, is finding a matching pair of QRO 20 microhenry roller inductors, matching pair, that'll handle, some power. And I could probably get away with using a little bit smaller roller inductors, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I'd like to maybe build another one of those. But besides that, no real radio projects on the horizon here. So we'll keep it moving. Back to Charlie, and I guess if Charlie's not in there, he said he might be signing. Go ahead, Pop. M1XEW in the group, W3 MMR.
Good morning. All right, let me pick it up. We got a couple of breakers. I think Shane and GIC and Charlie did sign. Let me make sure I have it. Okay, W2 SDR. Gonna make this my final. A nice hearing everybody this morning. Didn't get much of a chance to hear Charlie or say hello to Charlie, but maybe the next time. And Glenn, finding all your projects and different things going on, you guys there. So Perry, maybe I'll talk to you later on today, since you're off, and yes, I'm off. So we'll see you fellas later. Let me see. It goes to Chris, and you could pick up it goes to Glenn, and you could pick up the couple of breakers in there. So 7-3 all around. N1SNG in the group. W2 SDR.
See you, Pop.
7-3 to you, Frank. Good to hear you. Beautiful, near full quieting. And 718, as always, fabulous job there. That's a nice setup for sure. Charlie with your pursuit of the mouses there. Yeah. Remember that. Come back with some adventure stories. Sure. So anyway, Chris, yeah, Mike John Deere's doing that too. Same thing. It's it's burning oil. It runs fine, and then when you go to shut it off, or you just drop the throttle back, and you get the blue smoke coming out and all that. I noticed there was some oil around the exterior of the motor, so I don't know what's going on there. I'll just run it till it dies. I'll throw something else in there. I don't know, Motor Medic or synthetic oil or something. But it doesn't have that many hours on it. And yeah, I did the same thing, Chris. With it running, I popped the dipstick cover off, and that got put back on in quite a hurry there. Because just all the blow by in there. I think a lot of that is, I think it's normal, because with the pistons going up and down, it's got this push-pull type of effect, atmospherically, but I don't know. It's not like an automobile, I guess, but probably some blow-by or something stuck open. I don't know, but anyway, it's really done a good service life, even though it's got low hours. I mean, I put it through hell here, and if I had to go out and buy a new engine for it, that wouldn't be such a big deal. If it's even worth it, you know, because most of those tractors are disposable nowadays anyway. You know, it all depends on your budget, how much you love them. But anyway, I heard I think it was KB8 SMU checked in there. Was trying to, and then N1 GIC. So I'll get it right over to Shane, and then Chet, N1 GIC, would come after Shane there. And then I guess it would go over to Perry. So we'll see how that works out. KB8 SMU. Go ahead, Shane.
Well, good morning, everybody. This is Shane, KB8 SMU. Morning, Frank, Charlie, if he still has the receiver on, Perry, Glenn, and Chet, I think you said was in there. I got a day off and got up a little early, so I figured I'd see if anybody was on, and here we all are. I'll probably be a one and done, but like I said, I don't get on here very often, so I thought I would try and see if everybody was in here. Yeah, I got a day off. Day before yesterday was my 1-year anniversary of the new job. Made it a year so far. The best thing that ever happened, changing companies. And but yeah, I got my usual day off stuff to do. Laundry, dishes, Walmart trip, the usual. Clean up the house, all this good stuff. But yeah, everybody's sounding good. Just now, yeah, usually around 6 o'clock, the band starts shortening up, I'm guessing. But everybody was coming in really good. And Perry from the new location, yeah, you were 20, 30 over. Sounding real good. Everybody was sounding good, and yeah, Glenn, you were up like 20 over, and last 15 minutes it just started slowly going down. Definitely band conditions, but anyway, I won't hold it. Like I said, I'm gonna be one and done. Just wanted to say good morning, and I think it goes over to Chet, N1 GIC. I'll send it over to you. 7:30, guys.
yeah, somebody who was very liked there. Okay, Chet, good morning to you, and Shane, good morning to you also. This year we're going to be headed out. Congratulations on your first year of service to the workforce there after making the big change. So anyway, over to you, Chris.
Sure, I got it here. Yeah, I'm not going to hold it really long. Getting to be a big group. Good morning to Chet and Shane. Shane, loudest I've ever heard you. Normally when you check into the like the Lonely Guys on Saturdays, it's pretty late, and we don't have the propagation. Very, very nice signal, and looks great on the spectral display on the SDR here. I'm almost on the DX100, and I got a 20-meter CQ going on a 7300 out to the quarter wave ground plane. I'll have to go shut that off here in a minute. But 10 meters, boy, I tell you what, guys, 10 meters was hot yesterday. I did a bunch of operating from here, the home station on this antenna. You know, it works as a 7.5 wave doublet on 10 and Perry. Yeah, you're all set with that open wire line. It'll have a similar type of pattern on 10 meters as this one does. You're feeding with open wire, so you're all set there. That's a great antenna. And the band was just open all over the world yesterday at the same time. I was out in the Mobile last night. I had some fantastic contacts. And Glenn, I don't know if you remember Norm Chips, N3RZU. He was a regular on the old military radio net. Has a lot of military stuff. I haven't heard from him for years. I had forgotten what happened to him, but I was working a guy out in the Midwest. And I was down at the lighthouse at Watch Hill Point, and I had a smashing. This guy was just destroying my receiver. I mean, I was 15-20 over out into the Midwest from the Mobile, and when I got done with him, this QRP station from Arizona called me, and N3RZU. That's Norm. That was amazing. His name popped right out of my brain. It's one of those things that you can remember. Can't remember what you had for lunch, but the other day, but Norm is doing good. He was on a little 20-watt Zigu portable thing with a wire, and he's got a very good QRZ page. He's being quite active out there in retirement out there in somewhere in Arizona. And then I worked. I had a guy in Argentina call me, and then I heard this guy from Uruguay at like 20 over. As I was going up Route 1 in downtown Westerly going shopping, and I worked him from the Mobile right on Granite Street. It was awesome. It's like the days you hear about in Cycle 19 back in '58 when you needed you could use like a Heath tenor with a super regenerative receiver and work all over the world. I think we're heading into that right now. Anyhow, let's see, where does it go? You think it goes to Perry? I'm not sure, Glenn, but you can write the ship. AJ1G.
Yeah, it goes to me. Let me make sure I got it. All right, and we're AJ1G in the group W3MMR. Good stuff, Chris. Good stuff all the way around. Good morning to Shane, and good morning to Chet. Hell of a signal, Shane. I'm making a recording here. I'll post it on my YouTube channel once we all get done here, so it should definitely be up by the end of the day. Sometimes it takes a couple hours to upload and to render up to 4K because I do the recordings in 4K, so it could take a little while for them to upload, but it'll definitely be up by the end of the day. Just search your calls and the AM window on YouTube, and you should be able to find it. No problem. And yeah, Chris, Shane, I've never seen you this strong. And Chris, I've never seen you this strong. Chris, I don't ever remember you being 40 over, 35 to 40 over S9 on a DX100 down this way. I mean, just pounding in. You guys are way out there. So I'm gonna have to go back and check some of my old recordings and see what you guys were giving me at the old house and kind of See if my suspicions are correct. Well, this antenna I've had it tuned up from 10 to 160. I can get it down to and I've had it on 11 meters as well. I can get it down to about 1.3 to 1 on 10 and 11, which is nice. And 20, 40, 60. I haven't tried loading it up on 12. It'll load up on 17. But obviously, 20, 40 in here, it tunes up really, really nice. It works gangbusters on 20 meters into Europe. It did at the last house. I'm guessing hopefully it will again, because I'm kind of pointed in the same direction with it. Very similar orientation, just higher. So kind of hoping that it still has good performance into Europe. There was one more thing I wanted to mention, but of course I can't remember, but I'll keep it moving. And Chet, good morning to you. Good signal, Chet. This audio is real, real low. Hitting 20, 25 over at times. I couldn't quite really make anything out because of the audio, but great to hear you this morning, man. And 7:30 to you, Pop. So we'll keep it moving here. I was sending it to Dad, and so I guess it goes to, I think, Shane. I'll write Shane down on here, then to Chet, then I think back up to Glenn. So KB8 SMU, and I'm off today too, Shane. This is W3MMR.
Yeah, I think he signed off, Terry.
I think you're right. Go ahead, Chet.
Yeah, well, I did sign, but I'm just curious. My audio any better?
Yes, that's an improvement.
When you turn up the mic gain, I can't use so much mic gain on 10 meters. I've only, I have only been able to get, put it at a certain point. If I go above that point, when I go to transmit, it breaks out into oscillations and does weird things. And just makes noise on the air, I guess. So I decided I got to cut back on gain. That's where I was. I was up on 10 meters also, Chris. And I don't run very much power. I only run, I'd like to say I'm running 100 watts, but I don't think I'm running 100 watts. It doesn't seem to be getting up there. So, but I have talked to France, Scotland, Norway, Sweden, England, Germany, Africa, and Moscow. So that's what I've managed to raise. Also Nevada, California. So I've been quite expanding quite a bit here with my 10 meters homebrew dipole. So hey, flexing the dipole. That's it. Alrighty guys, I am saying 73. I'm going to pass it over to Glenn. There's one GIC over there, man. SLG with better audio. N1 GIC with better audio than N1 SLG. Y'all have a good day.
What a difference, Chet.
Very good. Yes, your adjustments there really brought up the audio. Very, very nice. Sounds good in the room here. Type audio. So thanks for stopping by this morning. It's always good to chat with you. During the pre-evening hours and so on there. And of course, the morning is usually much preferred here. But anyway, have a good day there, and hopefully we'll catch up with you a little later on. And yeah, Perry, that antenna sounds like it's doing a global work there. Just very, very nice. and how you've got that set up, then all your hardware is nothing makeshift, just really solid and designed to withstand the elements for sure, with the constant improvement factor in place there also. So great job with that. Just full Brian here, amazing. Yeah, my antenna. This antenna is only up about 35 feet, I would say, if that. It's very, very low to the ground, and in fact, the ends aren't much. They're a lot lower. Somewhat of an inverted V, but it's just strung up wherever there weren't any tree branches, so I could get it through there. But if I had any way of getting to the back, I could get an antenna up into the big pine trees. But the thing is, when the wind blows, those things just rock back and forth and back, and But yeah, I've got trees in the back, but it's just it's very, very confined. To run a wire, it would be difficult just to even get a wire through the vegetation there. But anyway, this has been up in this position for quite a long time, so I guess for the work that I do, it's adequate. But sometimes you just wish you had a little bit extra, and a nice tower would do it. But I'm not going to go about putting up a tower when I can get the performance that I'm getting and so on from my usage factor. But it'd be nice to have some real estate where, like, say my backyard was a field or something there. Possibilities for tower would be a lot greater. But anyway, good on hooking up with Norm, Chris. Yeah, I remember Norm. I think you should check into the moose and squirrel net, I believe, back in the day. And I think that call, I have that call in my logbook from the old military radio net from way back when. I've got one. I think it's 2019 or something. Whatever. But anyway, so it sounds like you're really doing great with that. The 7300 in the Mobile, and I think that was a pretty good investment. You've definitely you're probably using that more than you are all the other equipment that you have here. So goes to show you, when you're getting results, stick with it. The audio always sounds really good. And of course your location there, down on near the Granite Theater and Wilcox Park and all that area, down to the lighthouse. I think the lighthouse is a property of the town now, and not so much like the state or government, whatever. I think the town acquired that for in a kind of not a buy-off, but just took responsibility for that lighthouse, and that's really, I think it's right out in front of Taylor Swift's house there. But anyway, I think the Tacoma sounds like it's going pretty good there. I haven't heard any qualms about that, so I know it did look pretty new up there in Nearfest. Glad you got that all straightened out. So we'll get it right over to Chris and Terry. I think you're going to be. I don't know if you're going to work today or not, but anyway, everyone sounds great here this morning. What a treat! Hope this is the trend. AJ1G, N1SNG.
Okay, N1SNG, AJ1G. Yeah, the Tacoma's running great. And with that frame replacement. One of the things that happens is whenever you see out and about, and people always tend to do that. You see a Tacoma in the parking lot, I'll park next to it, and guys at the dump, a lot of Tacomas over at the dump, and you look over and you look in the left rear wheel well, and if you see a brand new frame with the barcode stickers on it, hey, you got your new frame, and you talk about it with them. And yeah, that thing works great. That thing is running super good. It's better than I've ever had it. They did an excellent job with that new frame, and I think the best thing that it's super tight now. Everything, and that's not that it ever was bad. It just feels just so much better. And I think they did an excellent job when they realigned it too. When they got a new frame, new roll control arms, all new bushings in the front end, new ball joints, all new metallic brake lines, new coolant, fresh recharge on the AC, and actually next week it's going in for it. They didn't touch the oil or the transmission; they came out in one piece. And going in next week, and they get an oil change, and I'm going to change the training fluid out. It's a little over 100,000 miles, so it's about the right time to do it. And yeah, it just runs and runs and runs. I love it. Yeah, it's the 7100, the mobile radio in the truck, and that's a very good investment. It does everything. It's a Swiss Army knife of radios, all band, all mode. I even played on FM a little bit on NHF, on not just up on 10 meters, but 40 meters. It's not that great. You get any sort of rapid QSB and things like that, phase cancellation, and the FM just falls apart. It's really only good line of sight mode. But yeah, it's lots of fun around there, the lighthouse or whatever. And that is owned now by, it's a non-profit. It's a bunch of the money people down there in Watch Hill. It's Watch Hill Lighthouse Keepers Association or something like that. And they maintain it, and I guess they pay the salary of kind of a guy like Brown over there at Fort Burnside. There's a resident guy that lives at the lighthouse and maintains it. Lately, though, he's been. I like to go over there early in the morning to fish and work Australia and before sunrise. But they only let me open up the gate there at the end of that little road down there at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's almost too late. And usually I start heading home by 8 o'clock. But it's a fantastic spot to operate from, nonetheless. And I park right on top of the old. And I talked to the lighthouse keeper there, or whatever you want to call him, the resident guy. There was from the 1920s on, I think until the 90s, there was a Coast Guard station there. At least it was manned by the Coast Guard or the Lighthouse Service, and there was a non-directional beacon, and the radials are still in the ground under the lawn and under the parking lot. So when I'm out there, I'm parked on top of that counterpoise field, so that surely helps. And right in the middle of the lawn, there's a little 4x4 foot square concrete abutment that comes up, and it's covered with copper plate and a big phosphor bronze plate and phosphor bronze bolts that used to hold the non-directional beacon tower, which I think came down. I remember listening to it back in the day on the BC 348. They would hammer right in. It's only 3 miles away. WH was the call sign. But they had a non-directional beacon there way back in the 20s, from what I understand. Anyhow, over to Perry. I don't know, Perry, you got to get out here for work, but over to you, and I'll just keep it going for a little while here. AJ1G.
WU2D.
All right. W3MMR. All right, we got Mike breaking in. Hey, Mike. Good morning. Good signal. WU2D breaking in. I have off today. Thank the good Lord up above. I wasn't supposed to have off today. I normally have off one day during the week and then the weekends, but we had one of the techs on vacation this week, and I was supposed to be working, but tis the season for things to kind of slow down in the auto repair industry, with the holidays coming up, back to school, the kids just kind of going back to school within the last couple months, Black Friday coming up, Halloween, so people aren't really getting their cars fixed at this time of year. It'll pick up after Black Friday, before Christmas, because people like to travel and use their automobiles for Christmas travel. And and Thanksgiving travel. So right before each holiday, we get a little bit of a rush, and then summertime though is a real bread and butter time for my industry. Chris, I forgot you had that frame replaced in that Tacoma. I forgot all about that. Well, good. Glad. Sounds like it obviously all went well. Sounds like it's still running great. Glenn, I know you have a Tacoma. I had a Tacoma. I had an 01, 5-speed manual, TRD off-road package, extended cab, and I miss it. I wish it got stolen in Philadelphia, and I never got it back. And never had another one since. And one day I'll have another Tacoma. I would really love to have one. What else do we have here? That's about it. So I'll keep it moving. I'll stick in here for another one. Conditions are fantastic. I mean, everybody's 20 to 30 over plus here this morning. WU2D. And then Mike, send it up to you'll send it up to Glenn M1SNG. WU2D in the group. This is W3MMR, Springfield, Pennsylvania.
Okay, beautiful. I'm just getting an old ARG-13 tuned up here, so stand by. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So, good morning to Glenn and the group. So tell me, Chris, when I went out the Mystic River on that little catamaran trip about a month ago, I went by a lighthouse on the right-hand side. Is that what you're talking about? Oh. U2D, AJ1G, WU2D.
Yeah, well, there's a whole bunch of them out there. There's Latimer Reef, which is to the east of Mystic, and I think there's a Ram Island light, if I'm not mistaken. And then to the right is New London Ledge, which is like a big brick building. That's down at New London Harbor. There's also, let's see. At the race, there's a lighthouse, a race rock light, which is off the west end of Fisher's Island, which is the long island that runs east to west off the shore. The east end is just off Stonington Point, and there's a lighthouse. It's not an active lighthouse at Stonington Point. There's Watch Hill, which is the one that I go out to. That's way to the east of Mystic. And the Latimer Reef light is the one that's closest towards Mystic going the other way. And then, of course, Montauk Point light is 26 miles away, but you could actually see that from Stonington Point and Watch Hill because they're up relatively high, especially at Watch Hill. And then also, if you look across to Montauk, there's just to the east of the lighthouse is Camp Hero, and they had this gigantic old it's like a big section of it's a big gigantic air search radar system. It has a name SRS or something 34. It's huge. It's a relic of the Cold War. It was like monitoring the approaches for incoming missiles from at sea into the New York City metropolitan area for the Nike missiles. And you can actually see that antenna on a good day from over this side. So there's many lights out there. Hey, I got your email about Al. Well, yeah, I just hope things are okay. It's kind of weird that they weren't responding from the house, or maybe something, had something going on. They didn't want to be interrupted, whatever. But yeah, I hope Al's okay. I'll turn that back to you, Mike. AJ1G.
W2D. Yeah, we can take that offline, but that's the way that goes. No, I'm talking about Mystic Shipyard, the old shipyard right there in town. That's where we took off from, and there's like a guy that rebuilds boats there. It's really quaint and old. And immediately starboard, heading down the river, I guess. It's the first light on the right. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous.
when we came back, the sun was setting right there, so I got a beautiful shot of that White House. But it's close this morning. Anyway, I'm building a little 20-meter Hartley just so I can say that I got on 20 meters for the Bruce Kelly Memorial Contest coming up in November over 2 weekends. I don't really think this is going to work, but I'm willing to try a Hartley on 20 meters just to see if it'll do anything. I'm much more interested in the 1BCG topology for 20 meters, but I don't have time to build one this year. That'll be next year. The 1BCG MOPA that they put together for the transatlantic test that was done by the RCA, not RCA, but the RCA. They actually had 3 big finals driven by a large power oscillator. And the way they got clean keying on it is they kept the oscillator running all the time, and they had a shorted loop keying. Shorted loop keying, basically you put a loop on one end of the oscillator coil, and as you key, you short that loop out through a twisted pair, and it jerks the frequency. Basically, it jerks the frequency up, and since the oscillator is running already, you get an absolutely clean tone. So it's shift keying. Now, that was never written up in the handbook, nor in any place in QST, and the hams had no idea that they'd use that technique to get the clean keying. So we'd be whooping and chirping for the next 20 years. Okay. Anyway, let's send it over to Glenn. And nice to be on here, Glenn. Retired and able to listen to you guys. N1SNG, WU2D.
Yeah, WU2D, N1SNG. Good to hear you in here this morning, Mike. It was a pleasure to have you stop by on the 3810 group there yesterday. And always a nice signal. That ART-13 is really doing a fabulous job there. So definitely sounds fantastic. So always nice to hear you on with that. Just looking at things here on the scope, and yeah, I guess it's doing okay. Probably could use a little more juice, but I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. It's a Valiant, you know. It's either in tune or it's not. But anyway. Chris, good on the lighthouse history there. That's kind of interesting, and yeah, some of the remnants of the Nike program that was pretty widespread. I know Jim WA1UQM. He was stationed at one of the Nike bases back in the day there. Of course, we had several of them here in Rhode Island. Portsmouth areas, and if you go into the Coventry, town of Coventry, the lines are still under the road that they ran from the radar site to the actual launch silos that were probably 5 miles away. Or maybe even less. But I remember as a kid, we rode out because we had the beach house, summer beach house on the pond, so we were able to go get a little adventurous, and we rode our bikes to one of the night bases, and then we this was the one in Coventry, and so we before the main gate there. We ditched our bikes in the woods, and then we played like a kids commando dying, you know. And we got up. There was somewhat of a berm around that whole a launch site there, and we got up pretty close. And I remember seeing a guard who was armed and also had a dog, a German Shepherd, and so we didn't get too far in, you know. We didn't, you know. It was pretty scary. But again, if you go online and you Google up Nike sites, you know, in this area here, and there's quite a bit of information, and that's actually photographs of the Coventry site under inspection, and kind of an open house for dignitaries and all, and it shows the Nikes and the upright position, you know, in that particular launch pad area there. I know there was some hazmat issues later on, but yeah, so pretty popular, and the radars themselves, you know, pretty intense. They did have a Nike down at the Quonset Air Museum when that was still alive there. They had one around on the back, and I think I got pictures of W2ILA standing in line with that, and also I think it's part of the military vehicle collectors group. I think they have some access to one of those, you know, with the trailer and all that. It just gets dragged along to some of the shows. So I got pictures of my nephew who had just retired from the service there, and standing next to one also. But yeah, what was it? The Hercules, the Ajax. I think there was another one that they had also. Yeah, a lot of history there. I'm not going to drag on here. Over to you, Perry. W3MMR N1SNG.
People got wired in order to get our interest here. The unit seems to be working.
Is that another QSO?
Yeah, it sounds like guys down south are firing up.
Group from down south. I think it's coming from down south, and they usually fire up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not definite on that. Over.
Yeah, okay, that's Mac. WA4AX. Oh, Mac's good. Mac's good people. But anyway, you know how that goes. Anyway, and I'm kind of stuck in the middle down here, being in southeast Pennsylvania. I really get them guys strong at times, so that's kind of unfortunate. And I know that they hear me for sure, so because I used to get in there with those guys, actually for quite a long time. But anyway, enough about that. Good morning, Mike. WU2D. Great signal down in the southeast Pennsylvania this morning, Mike. Great to hear you here. We have worked before. It's been a long time. I do hear you quite often. I hear you more than we talk. But really good to hear you, Mike. I hope all is well. Sounds like all is well. And really sounding great down here this morning. Just on Apache Labs Anon 7000. DLE, AL82. I turn the power up a little bit. I'm running about 300 watts of carrier. Using a homebrew balanced Dell matching network, 600 ohm open wire fed, 125 foot inverted V up about 90 feet. So that's what we got going on here this morning. Just trying to update my QRZ page while you guys were making your last rounds there, because I haven't done that since I moved to the new house here. So I got that going on, so that's cool. And really not much else to report. Just going to enjoy my day off today, and yeah, do a bunch of nothing. So anyway, really good to hear you guys. I'm going to bid farewell say 7-3. I'm going to sit back and copy the mail here for a while, mess around in the shack, and got to go do some grocery shopping here this morning. So we'll get around to that eventually, but we're going to hang out in the shack for a little while longer. Maybe tune up to 40 meters and listen into the VKs while it's still dark out. My dad gets on 7138 plus or minus with a few guys from down under, and I always enjoy going up there and see how well I can copy those guys with this antenna. So 7-3, guys, have a great morning. Maybe I'll get up before work tomorrow morning, but if not, I'll catch you guys Saturday morning for the old Milrad net. So good to hear you. Have a great day, and we'll turn it back up to Mike, I believe. Yeah, it goes to Mike. WU2D in the group. 7-3 from W3MMR.
And let's see.
Yeah, Mike, let me just, I'm going to sign out here. I'm going to go down at 3705, AJ1G. Yeah, it's been fun, guys.
Down here since 1:30 this morning, so I'll say to my 7-3. It's good to hear you in here, Mike, Perry, Chris, and of course Frank and Kat, and Shane, and yeah, good group here this morning. No time restraints, so we're gonna swim to shore. So 7-3 is all I want to send you.
Yeah, good morning, Glenn. We'll talk about Nike bases next time. AJ1G.
Yeah, see you, Glenn, Chris, Mike, 7-3, W3MMR.
73s, guys, WU2D. Hey, Glenn, if you're still here.
What the hell? I didn't see a roll. That's in front of the garage and so forth. So I bet you got a lot of extra stuff. A4JCP.
Yay.